Howdy there, Nancy Drew Clue Crew. Arglefump here with Nancy Drew Mobile Mysteries Shadow Ranch. We're going to the Navajo Store. The girls enter the shop and a small bell rings. A short, black-haired woman emerges from behind the front counter and greets them with a forced smile. Hi, I'm Mary. This is Mary Yazzi. You might remember her if you've played Nancy Drew, Secret of Shadow Ranch. Let me know if I can help you with anything. Oh, and here's the bell sound effect. The walls of the store are covered with rugs and baskets woven with intricate geometric designs. Shelves hold an assortment of pots, beadwork, and sand paintings. Paintings made with sand. Bess walks up to a row of cases holding decorative masks. Some seem to look like animals, aliens. One is empty. One case with a very special mask. Where's the mask? Bess inquires. Before the shopkeeper can respond, tears well up in her eyes and she starts to cry. Bess and Nancy run over to her and offer her a handkerchief. I'm sorry, Mary sobs. The mask was stolen recently and it meant a great deal to me. The shopkeeper straightens up and wipes her tears away. That wasn't very professional of me. It's okay, Nancy consoles. What happened? My father died recently, the woman explains. He was a craftsman and made ceremonial masks for Navajo dancers. It's forbidden to sell ceremonial pieces like these, or even to show them to anyone outside the tribe, so we put flaws in the copies we sell to make sure they're not authentic. Tears well up in the woman's eyes. When I went through his belongings, I came across a mask that I thought was a copy. The very night I put it out for sale and it was stolen. Did the police find out who stole it? No, but when I showed pictures of the mask to the sheriff, who's also Navajo, he recognized it as an authentic mask. Mary sighs. This is a terrible mistake. It's shameful to me both as a daughter and a member of the Navajo tribe. What's worse is that the police believe the thief is someone right here in the Courtyard Co-op. How's that? Bess asks. Each of the shops has a small apartment in the back and we all live on site. At night, we lock up the courtyard so no one could have broken in. That means the thief is one of the other store owners, right? The police searched everywhere, everyone's shops and apartments. They even looked inside each of Mr. Delgado's pots. Mary starts to cry again. I feel terrible about what I've done. Bess looks imploringly at Nancy. Mary? Nancy starts. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to help you if I can. How? Mary asks, sniffling. Nancy is a detective, Bess blurts out. Mary's eyes twinkle, and she smiles. Oh, could you? I would be so happy. The police don't have any leads. Okay, so let's ask, who knew about the mask? Everyone in the co-op. Mr. Delgado, Miss Nank, Mrs. Katsui, Miss Kell, and all the customers. Did the thief break in, or did they have a key? Mary looks down. We all have the keys to each other's shops to look after them and, in case somebody goes out of town, she explains. And because the courtyard is so well protected, I keep the shop door open at night. Mary pauses and looks back and forth. Okay, let's ask about the other shopkeepers. I've known everyone for several years, since I moved here. Mrs. Katsui is very nice, but kind of distant. Her shop is above mine. Mr. Delgado and Miss Nank are pleasant, but Miss Nank doesn't like me very much. She says my prices are too low and I'm underselling everybody else. Alright, so ask if she saw anything suspicious on the night of the theft.
Hi.
Mary hesitates for a moment, and then is distracted by the Pomeranian from the courtyard sneaking into the shop. She rushes to cradle the dog in her arms and pulls out a button from between his teeth. Not a dog, she scolds as she lets him jump to the floor. The dog scampers happily out of the store. Mary shows the girls a bright blue button. He steals them from his owner, Mrs. Katsui, and hides them in my shop. Nancy stares hard at Mary. You were about to tell us what happened the night of the robbery? Mary's smile vanishes and she looks down. I didn't want to tell anybody but this, but I should tell someone. The more we know about the robbery, the better we can investigate. Mary hesitates for a moment, draws in a breath, and tells the story. I woke in the middle of the night and I heard a noise outside my window. When I looked, there was this ghostly creature staring back at me. What was it? Bess asks intently. I don't know, Mary whispers. It looked half human, half animal, and had this odd glow about it. I was so afraid I stayed in bed with the covers over my head. I didn't tell anybody about this, not even the police. Because you were embarrassed? Nancy asks. Mary nods. Are the other masks in your store, flawed copies? Yes, Mary says. The sheriff verified that none of the others were authentic. Is there any way you could get a hold of another real mask? Mary hesitates. Why? Well, whoever the thief is, the thief can recognize an authentic piece, Nancy deduces. If we put out another real mask, we might be able to lure the thief back and catch him in the act. Mary's eyes brighten at the thought of nabbing the culprit. I've already brought so much trouble. I brought a lot of trouble to my tribe, but I'll see what I can do. Come back tomorrow night. And we're coming back tomorrow night anyway because of the dance, so it's a good plan. As Nancy and Bess leave Mary's store, they see a tall woman with red hair pull a dead leaf off of one of the potted topiary trees, which is turning yellow. She drops it in the muddy soil. Miss Dank, the woman yells towards the fine art gallery, you're overwatering this tree. Miss Dank appears in her doorway. No, I am not, Miss Kell. I give each one the same amount of water and cannot help it if that one's finicky. And is this Mr. Mingles? The Pomeranian is Mr. Mingles. Oh, Mr. Mingles, you crazy Pomeranian. He was in Nancy Drew dossier, Resorting to Danger, and you can see him on the door of Nancy's room in Nancy Drew Warnings at Waverly Academy. So this dog has been all over the Nancy Drew series. Suddenly, the Pomeranian runs into the store. Mrs. Katsui shows up. He's stolen my best buttons and hidden them in Mary's store. Could you find them for me? Sure, we can find them. Anything for a collectible. Let me see. Where are those final two beads? One on the wall. I'm feeling that there's another one inside this shelf. But I'm wrong. Okay, where is that final bead? Not on the ground. Not on any of these shelves. Well, I have to say, this is kind of difficult here. There it is. Okay. Nancy returns the buttons that Mr. Mingles stole with the dog in tow. Mrs. Katsui gives her the tiger's eye brooch, which is a collectible. Oh, it's lovely, Nancy says, but I can't accept it. Please, I insist, Mrs. Katsui responds. I very much appreciate your help. Nancy thanks Mrs. Katsui, and the two girls enter the courtyard. So now we can either go back to Shadow Ranch or visit all the various stores. Well, we can't visit the Navajo Craft Store because we've already been there. Let's visit Scintillating Creations. Miss Kell? Nancy goes through some doors. Those are the sound effects. And Miss Kell has glow sticks, which is suspicious because the culprit had some sort of weird glow around them when they stole the mask. All right, now let's try the Fine Art Store. It's closed, but Miss Nink has a magazine which says Appraising Native American Artifacts. So that's suspicious. Very suspicious. What about pottery? Is there anything suspicious here? Mr. Delgado is selling something for $50,000. Yeah, so pretty much all the various store owners have something about them which is suspicious, which sort of makes them look like they're a culprit in the theft. Mrs. Katsui, she is typing at her computer. And Bess makes a distraction. Way to go, Bess. So Bess distracts Mrs. Katsui, and Nancy gets to guess what the password is. The password to the computer, believe it or not, is 123456. And it turns out that Mrs. Katsui was just playing a game of Mahjong online. So, okay, maybe there's nothing suspicious about Mrs. Katsui. Okay, well, that's it for, exploring all these various shops. We'll return to Shadow Ranch, and in the next video, I believe everybody is going to get ready for the big fancy dance tomorrow night.